Friday, December 5th will be a big night in Portsmouth. First up, it is the 6th and final Seacoast Stories Dinner Club of the year. And we're taking over Portsmouth again, this time at a special start time of 5:30 p.m. because at 7:30, the 4th and final Seacoast Stories live podcast is happening finally at 3S Art Space. I'll kick off the show by talking to Dagan Migerdich, the affable co-owner of Liar's Bench Beer Co. Then beloved past guest Laura Fox will whip out her guitar to play some of her signature love songs. And in our headlining performance, the functional nutritionist Erin Holt brings her expertise, humor, and big energy to the stage. If you want in on Dinner Club and or the live podcast, which you should want in on both, you can get your tickets to each event by visiting the links in the show notes. I can't wait to see you there. Now on to today's episode. Welcome to Seacoast Stories, a podcast about the people, businesses, and newsmakers that make the Seacoast an American hidden gem. I'm Troy Farkas, and on today's episode, the small Portsmouth company that's making huge waves not only on the Seacoast, but also across the entire nation. When I first walked in to Port City Pretzels, I had no idea what to expect. I've taken tours at the Guinness factory in Dublin, Heineken in Amsterdam, and even the Cape Cod Chips factory in Massachusetts, which were these massive buildings with hundreds of employees and huge distribution. So with Port City Pretzels, a manufacturing facility tucked away on West Road in Portsmouth, I assumed I'd walk into more of a mom and pop operation. And let me tell you, I was floored by what I saw. I put my hairnet on, burst through the doors, and found myself staring at 20,000 square feet, littered with machine after machine, piles and piles of boxes, and bag after bag of just 4 flavors of pretzels: feisty hot, cinnamon sugar, ranch dill, and mustard and honey. It's no mom and pop operation, but it is a mom and daughter one. Founded by Suzanne Foley in the mid-2010s, Port City Pretzels is a low-key behemoth. Their pretzels are in thousands of grocery stores across the country, so many that Suzanne has lost count. You may have heard of some of them. How about Hannaford, or Big Y, or Shaw's, or Market Basket, or even WalMart? This is insane stuff, and Port City Pretzels is a Seacoast company that not enough people are talking about. Their unparalleled growth is first and foremost due to Suzanne's brilliance, but also that of her daughter Eilee, who runs the business alongside her mother. In fact, the idea for Port City Pretzels was planted decades ago when Eilee won an entrepreneurship award in school for the pretzels she served to her classmates. The recipe Eilee used is the exact same one used for the ranch dill pretzels, Port City's flagship offering, and that recipe was actually created by Suzanne's mother, Eileen Foley, the longest-serving mayor in Portsmouth history. This is another Seacoast story you just have to hear to believe, and it's an episode that's presented by Little Tree Education and Studio H. And on today's episode, Suzanne, Eilee, and I discuss the adverse circumstances that led Suzanne to start Port City Pretzels, why the pretzels instantly took off, what the worlds of manufacturing and grocery stores are really like, how Port City Pretzels caught the attention of Shark Tank's Mark Cuban, and why Vice President Kamala Harris paid Port City a visit during her presidential campaign. Oh, and one more thing. Each employee at the factory has a disability of some kind, and this is something Suzanne and Eilee pride themselves on. You'll see what I mean in a moment, but for now, here is Suzanne discussing the early days of what was originally known as Portsmouth Pretzels.
Had lost my job, very humbling experience that everybody should unfortunately go through because you just reevaluate things in life a little bit. So it was in an unemployment meeting that I was sitting there trying to figure out what to do next and sort of shocked. And I decided to do these pretzels. And I thought back to when I originally had them so many years ago and how my kids did them in an entrepreneurial project. And at the time, Portsmouth was starting to really kind of boom. This was about 10 years ago. So Portsmouth is just growing and becoming a vacation mecca. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do Portsmouth Pretzels. and I'm just going to sell them downtown as kind of like a novelty item. So that's how it started.
Okay, so much to unpack there. So even back when you had these pretzels way back when, you thought, wait, this could be something.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
And weren't they, I remember when I made them for my project, they were like the traditional pretzel, what you look like.
Well, you broke them up in pieces.
Oh, see, I don't even remember that. But it wasn't the rods that we now manufacture. Like it was a very different pretzel shape.
So it's the recipe, but I love to cook.
So you guys have 4 flavors today. What was the original that you guys had?
Tasty Ranch Dill.
Mm-hmm.
Tasty
So
Ranch
that
Dill.
was
Okay,
the original.
So that's the OG.
Yeah, for sure.
And this was unlike any pretzel you had ever had before.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of seasoned pretzels out there on the market. So it just seemed like something that would be, and again, I was only thinking within, the area of Portsmouth. That was it. Maybe Kittery if, I was really lucky. So that was originally how I started.
Okay, so you file this idea away. This could be something someday, and you're in the corporate world. What were you doing?
I was a business manager for a business in town.
She won't go into much detail.
Oh,
Can't.
okay.
She's not allowed to.
I can't.
But she did. She's incredibly successful and it was like the breadwinner. Like I always grew up with my mom, I guess kind of different than what stereotypically how American families are. So my mom was the breadwinner, did very, very well for herself. And then shit hit the fan.
Oh, yeah.
And she was unemployed. And it's not, I shouldn't laugh because it's not funny, but this at all.
Well, it's a good thing we can laugh about it now.
She lost her job. And then my papa died, her dad. And then on the day of his funeral, I kid you not, her sister died, my aunt. So like my papa's daughter on the day of his funeral. And then like 2 weeks later, my dog died. So this like all happened in like
going dark.
Oh my gosh.
This is going dark.
It gets dark all the time.
Yeah.
It's on the podcast.
It was tough. And like I was a senior in college. My sister was a junior. So it was a lot. And this is kind of the inception, right? I would almost think you did this a little bit to distract yourself from like
for sure.
Pure, chaos. Your dad, your sister, your jobs that literally provided for our family. And then our dog, Danny, R.I.P. That was tough.
I start crying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sitting in an unemployment meeting is tough. That's a tough thing to do. And it's hard for anybody that has to go through that. And my heart hurts for people. So I think I was so down that I was like, I can't work for anybody. I can't put in this much effort. I'm a really hard worker. I have an incredible work ethic. I just have to do something for myself. I love to cook. There's lots of things, like rosemary shortbread cookies, a lot of neat things I'd love to consider, but I kept going back to those pretzels. And I think the name, when I said, Portsmouth Pretzels, that just seemed like it fit. So yeah, we went with it. We started, at least.
She
steps.
started.
Yeah.
By herself. And this is when we had some mental health concerns. No, I'm just kidding.
They thought I was crazy because
we would like come home from college and there would be like poster boards of recipes and marketing campaigns and
pretzels.
And pretzels
were everywhere. They were in the living room. They were in the dining room. They were in the kitchen. I had tables set up. I was like into it. I was, it was R&D, bootstrapping big time.
But she was like, I'm going to start a company. And I'm not to age you, but she was mid-50s at the time, old. We were like, what do you mean you're going to start a company? Which again, an ode to her, not many, very rarely many women, one start a company, start it after a career that has ended, a completely different career.
It has happened. Kentucky Fried Chicken. There's a lot of older people that have started companies.
Sure.
Anyway.
So making this big pivot that you did, I'm wondering, because I've heard this story before, when you encounter the string of bad luck, if you will, that you did in that short amount of time, did that kind of force you to adopt the mindset of like, F this? Or was there any type of existential crisis? What is the point of life like that made you think about what was actually important? And for you, that was not working for someone else. And
no, I wasn't what the point of life. No way. I was like, okay, let's put your big girl pants on. Let's go. Let's figure out what our next move is in life. And the one thing I hope I can do is encourage more entrepreneurs, because I think so many of us have it in us, right? There's people that have incredible work ethics out there, and maybe they're working for the man, and maybe it's just not conducive for them. So just figure out something to do. Figure out some way to provide something or a service or a product or something. I'm always on my soapbox trying to encourage more entrepreneurs.
You could have gone in a bazillion directions.
Oh, for sure.
And it's my understanding that the food business is a hard business to do well in. So why did you want to get into this business specifically?
Okay, first of all, life's not about money to me. So it wasn't, sure, I could go to Boston and, get another career and bring home the bacon. But I just think there's got to be a balance in life. It's fun. I mean, it's
really
hard, but it's
really, really hard.
It's fun. And you get some energy, there's energy about, okay, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to sell these pretzels downtown. I'm going to take them to the local stores downtown, and this will be fun. So I was excited, everything from learning, okay, this is how I do a business plan. This is where I get my licenses. This is where I get my, food knowledge, everything. It was like going to school, learning how to do this.
Okay. So you start this business, originally Portsmouth Pretzels.
Yes.
What was the original vision for this?
Downtown Portsmouth, just to sell in local stores. Just to
not
try
to have your own storefront, just to get the product in
just
local
to get
stores.
The product. Like I always remember Portsmouth Tea, and then was Portsmouth Candle Company. So I thought, well, okay, I'll do Portsmouth Pretzels. Just seemed like a catchy name, and
like
so
a
I
novelty
thought,
item,
like a novelty tourist item. That's all it was. And I had a spreadsheet, and I remember thinking, okay, if I can sell, 1,000 bags of pretzels, I can make it.
No ambitions beyond Portsmouth.
Oh no, nope, not originally.
Okay, so Eilee, you think your mom's going crazy?
Yes, a lot of concerns at this point.
And this business is just being run out of her kitchen.
Yep.
Take me into the scene. What did this look like?
Well, that was R&D. That was first R&D, because I couldn't run out of my kitchen in Portsmouth. So it was like the first thing I learned was, wait, what? I can't do this out of my kitchen?
For like legal reasons?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
food
you want to be careful where you get food items off like Etsy and stuff. Like it truly has to come from a manufacturing site. It is
we know the dirty secrets,
and you're feeding the general public. Like, so you have to be legit, but that's a whole other chapter we can get into. But you then had moved, she was looking for like industrial kitchens to rent out of around here. I remember you were looking at one in Kittery for a hot minute. And then you moved up to the Mills in Dover, and she was in a space.
So how long were you in the kitchen for?
Not long, I feel like.
Well, no, it was probably about 6 months.
Okay.
It's probably about 6 months. And enough time for my friends to ask, how's your mother doing, with these pretzels?
We still sometimes get that. I'll get that. How's your mom doing with the pretzels? And I'm like, if only you knew.
Yeah.
If only you knew. And I think people.
As if it's just like a cute side project.
Yes. And I think some of
it was for a hot minute.
But I truly think, and not to like call you out on it, but I think maybe you didn't understand either when you come in. Like, I think it is so different. We're moving really away from this idea of a novelty item to an everyday grocery item. And so it's hard to explain that to people and not, I didn't understand it either. And it's taking me a while to kind of be like, oh crap, we're headed in this direction. But yeah, sometimes I'll still get that question of like, how are you, sweetie? Are you doing okay? How's it doing at like
think we're nuts over here?
Terracotta pasta, which we loved. Terracotta is one of our original. But people will feel like that's the only place you sell it. I'm like, it's actually like 30 hotels.
But I still love all those original people. Like I'll never, our
loyal.
brokers now are like, you need to move on. It's this grocery store items, but I still care and love the fact that I had all these mom and pops in the beginning that believed in me and believed in my product. And it just means a lot.
Okay. So to be moving your production to Dover pretty quickly, it must have taken off locally.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It did. So how Right. Because the first thing I did, I remember the woman that cuts my hair is like, oh, you ought to do this beer event.
I came to you with that. See, I've always been here.
Right.
I've always been tagged along.
That was like the first thing I did. I was at a beer event and I got there like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Beer event?
It's in Exeter, like a brew
festival kind of thing. Okay,
right. She's not a beer drinker. Okay. She drinks wine and hot and dirties.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh, I did the wine show in Boston once too. That was wild. But anyway, it was a brew fest in Exeter. And I remember getting there like 6 o'clock in the morning, like standing there behind my booth. I was all set up and it was like, I was dying. Because it was the first time. I mean, I've had other people test the pretzels, obviously, but this was like official. Like I had bags, I was ready to go. And it was wild. I sold out all the bags. Really? It was crazy. I did a local holiday fair here. And I remember looking up one time and it was like 6 people deep and these women are all opening up their purses and with dollar bills to pay me for the pretzels. And I got so overwhelmed. I actually started crying because it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's just pretzels. But and I know this is cheeky, but there's a lot of love that goes into it. And so I was just feeling that, wow, what I was doing was actually other people were picking up on that. So yeah.
It was being received well.
Yeah, it was in the beginning. So in the beginning, we started that way. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go to 10 stores, Tugboat Alley, Seaport Fish, Saunders,
Terracotta,
Golden Harvest, Trezzy's, all the local places. And they all took the pretzels. They each bought a case of pretzels and I was so excited. And I was out to dinner with friends actually celebrating that. And I got a message on my phone and it was from a store and it was like 24 hours later and they were ordering more pretzels. And then it just kept compounding and compounding and compounding. So
wow. And was it just you before you moved to Dover?
Yeah. Well, no, I quickly learned that I needed other people. I could only work as much as I could. I had a couple of 2 o'clock in the morning nights and going in at 4 a.m. and just trying to make pretzels, package pretzels, deliver pretzels. And yes, it was all me.
And then Grammy would help.
Yeah.
And then so you had 2 friends that would come and help, Barbara and Sharon, right?
Yep. My mother started helping me and her friends at one of the assisted living places in Portsmouth would all do the labels. They'd all get together and they'd put the labels on my bags. I'd pay them and they'd have like 100 bags done. And I'd be like, that's it? This is my mother. She couldn't go fast enough,
Wow.
It was like all of a sudden I was feeling like, wow, I can't believe this is taking on a little bit of momentum here. So I reached out to a very old friend in town and she came and helped me. She had another friend and that's how things started. Until I was in the mills in Dover and there was this fella, Dwayne, and Dwayne was in a wheelchair and he kept stopping by my facility and he was looking for a job. And I was like, oh, I don't know, Dwayne. I don't, it's a lot of manual work here. I'm not sure exactly what you could do. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, wow, I'd really like to give him a job. I obviously need the help. And I was just trying to figure out what to do. And, he'd roll by and ask me, it was getting to be almost every other day he would ask me. And so finally one day I'm like, you know what? Yeah, how about putting the labels on the back of my bags because my mother and her friends aren't going fast enough. So Dwayne came in and I remember he had told me that he worked at Shaw's. And when he was at Shaw's, they provided a platform for him for his wheelchair so he could be at the same level as the customers as they come through. And so, because I'm trying to figure out how he's going to get to the table to be able to do the labels because it's a little higher. So I had some pallets in my facility in Dover and I was like, well, let's put a couple pallets on top of each other and we'll put some boards up and we'll wheel you up on top of it. And that's what we did. And Dwayne was fantastic and did labels for me for a very, very long time. And was with me for a long time. But I bring that up because that is the start of my mission to hire some very unique individuals here.
That's kind of when I sort of entered the scene. I wasn't with her yet formally as a partner at all. I was in grad school, and then I had entered the mental health field, and a lot of who I was working with, was folks with disabilities. And so she was talking about how she needed to hire workers. And I was like, this is an untapped field. You should look into hiring workers with disabilities. And there's dozens of organizations in this area that their job is to help match people with disabilities with careers or jobs. And so I, was doing my own career, my own field of mental health. And I just kind of mentioned it to her, handed her a few folks in the area that did this, particularly over at vocational rehabilitation in Portsmouth, some folks at Easter Seals, and kind of just like assisted, like, hey, I think this would be a really good idea. There is so much potential there. And you have to shift a little bit in the way you think about how you explain things or how things are done in your facility. But they're unbelievable, dedicated workers. But that's kind of when I had introduced it to her. And then she took it and ran with it, which was very impressive because again, kind of by herself doing everything. But that was really after doing the start of, I guess, our little empire we have here of very special, special people.
So all of a sudden, when the agency started to find out about the fact that I was reaching out and hiring these folks, and it's not like we want to find the right position for our employees. So some employees do better at packing. Some will do better at maybe sweeping if that needs to be done. Some are better at cooking. Some are on the equipment. So it just depends. But I think it's important to note that this isn't something that I care to talk about. And basically, this food industry, this industry of getting your product on a store shelf is a very competitive business. And I didn't feel it was necessary to like I'm talking to you now and explaining about the employees that we hired. I just didn't feel it was necessary because I was nervous about someone thinking that I would be exploiting these employees. So I purposely made a point of never talking about it. So anytime, even when Portsmouth Herald did a story on me, I don't think I ever really promoted what I did. So George Floyd happened. So that kind of all of a sudden the world started thinking a little bit different. And then people started talking more and more to me about it. And then buyers would talk to me about it. Like, huge buyers that buy for these, huge grocery store chains, they'd be interested in the fact that I hired those types of employees. And I'm thinking, well, this is a no-brainer. I needed employees. They wanted to work. It just makes sense to us. And I have spoken to other people about it, other, manufacturing plants. And it goes, right to, well, what's the productivity? And look, we've got, one person that packs pretzels here that's faster than the machine that I looked at one of the equipment shows. And then we have someone that may take a little bit more time because they're putting 12 pretzel bags down on a chart. So then that goes into the case. So that takes a little bit more time. And I'm sorry, if that's an accommodation, I don't have a problem making that accommodation. I don't know. It's a no-brainer to me. Another reason I also didn't talk about it is I've seen peers do just the thing that I was afraid of. Like, oh, we are special because we hire these, types of employees, and they might have one employee, but they're, really kind of exploiting that a little bit. And I just
we're the real deal.
Have an issue with that. Yes. Well, 74% of our employees, and we're up to 40 plus employees now, have some sort of a cognitive disability. And we have a waiting list.
Almost no more because we're growing so fast that we are checking into that waiting list.
More.
Yeah.
What level of, or what kinds of disabilities are we talking about here?
It's a wide range.
How about Brandon? Brandon is blind and packs. He's been with me for 6 years, and he packs pretzels. He's blind.
It can be anywhere from like a physical impairment or mental,
deaf,
autism, Down syndrome. mental health as well. We work with Seacoast mental health here. And so that also has, I think people really don't understand the capacity of what some of these local agencies do and what just Seacoast mental health within itself has a whole vocational rehabilitation program of matching people with jobs. It's not just a mental health therapist facility. So it really, really ranges anywhere from, like I said, physical to mental to cognitive. We're very accepting here with the caveat that sometimes we're not a great fit for everyone. And we recognize that, especially when we have folks come through. We usually do like a trial run. Someone will, test out a few positions here. Sometimes we're not a good fit and that's okay. So we own that piece too. Not everyone is going to fit the mold here and that's okay.
Coming up, how Port City Pretzels takes off without any marketing, and how the business catches the eyes of Mark Cuban and Kamala Harris. That's next. But you may know this about me. I am a yoga teacher, and I'm sure you know that a lot of us in the wellness world are really concerned about preventative health. That's why we focus on eating right and exercising and getting sunlight and such so that we can stave off the problems rather than just react to them when they arise. Well, the same line of thinking extends to your hair health. Enter Studio H. It's a salon right next to Southport Kitchen in Rye. At Studio H, they offer non-medicated and non-invasive hair loss and scalp health solutions. Their focus is finding the root cause of someone's hair loss and then guiding them with personalized, long-term solutions, meanwhile educating clients on handling dandruff, psoriasis, and other scalp concerns. Hair is, of course, a big part of any woman or man's confidence, and if you could use a little more pep in your step when you go out in, say, downtown Dover for an evening, then you really should consider giving Studio H a try. And from now through the end of the year, you can get $100 off a hair consultation. It's normally $200, so this will knock it down 50% to activate this deal. Just go to the contact box on their website, link in the show notes, write Seacoast stories in the box, and then Studio H will be in touch with you to schedule your discounted consultation. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at Little Tree Education. It's a Montessori school for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers, serving children from 6 weeks through 6 years. What is a Montessori school, you ask? It's a child-centered educational philosophy that promotes independence and self-directed learning. Instead of traditional grades, children are grouped by age and they learn at their own pace in a specially prepared environment. Little Tree opened its doors in 2013, and now they have 3 locations in Dover, Madbury, and Newmarket. They serve over 350 families on the Seacoast, employing over 80 teachers, several of whom have worked together since the day Little Tree opened. Here, you'll find a vibrant community of families and educators, and it's a place where lifelong friendships are created. Many families consider Little Tree an extension of their family. Plus, they even offer childcare while you, the parents, go off to work. And guess what? Enrollment for spring and fall 2026 is now open. And from today through December 31st, you can get 50% off, 50, off your application fee with the code Seacoast Stories at checkout. All one word, that's code Seacoast Stories at checkout. Thank you, Little Tree, and thank you, Studio H, for supporting the show. Now back to Suzanne, who explains how Port City Pretzels quickly outgrows the Seacoast.
I have an advisory board, and I think we were 3 years or 4 years in it. And they're asking me, well, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to keep things at this level, or do you want to take it and grow it? I'm like, let's go for it. Let's grow. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you were to look at even just the spaces we've had over, or that she's had over the last 10 years, I mean, we started in a space this small, the size of this office, and now we have our own offices. We have a whole wing of offices now and a whole plant that we're outgrowing very
20,000 square feet, and it's
we need
it's not enough. So we need to move again. So that's tough. That's probably a low when you have to think about something like that. But it's all positive. So yeah.
You started as Portsmouth Pretzels. When and why did you rebrand to Port City Pretzels?
Marketing. Dun, da, da, da.
Well,
right?
yes, it was marketing, but it was actually, there's a gentleman in town, Dennis Robinson, and he wrote for the Portsmouth Herald. He's an author, just a great historian. And I actually worked with him in the beginning to come up with a story on the back of my bags. And it was actually his idea. And I'm thankful to Dennis all the time because he was like, Portsmouth. Like, no one really cares about Portsmouth. I mean, of course, we all care and love about Portsmouth. But in terms of selling my product, you've got to tweak it somehow. And he had said Port City. And I was like, okay, great, let's go with it, which is.
But it's actually smart because if you think about it, like,
smart.
The foreshadowing that had to happen for him to think about that. Like you are not in that arena of selling stuff across the country. But like, if I'm in California, I'm not really picking up, I'm trying to think of like a small town, but like, you don't necessarily care about like a food product labeled that. So I think it's a very smart move, Portsmouth pretzel. I just think Port City is more grocery store can buy.
Encompasses more.
Yeah. And the logo is based off of the city of Portsmouth seal. And a very dear friend of mine, Pam Smith, actually did the logo and kind of tweaked it up for us. And we love it. It's the tugboats, it's the bridge, it's the church, it's everything that Portsmouth is. And that I loved. So I wanted to keep that, but if we could change it to Port City, I was okay with that. And I can't say it enough, but everything that I've done here is really based on the advice of someone else.
You started with the dill pickle flavor, or that was like the OG that you had first had. So when you started this company, was it the 4 flavors you have now? Did it take time to build up to those?
No, it was a grocery store that said, what are your other flavors? And I was like, I only have one. And they were like, well, look, if you're going to make it in this business, you got to have other flavors. It's actually a grocery store. So it was a grocery store manager. And so I thought, okay, well then I'll do something sweet. And I go back to my kitchen, kind of play around with some different things. And I had thought about cinnamon sugar. And I am proud to say that my cinnamon sugar was one of the first ones in the industry. And all of a sudden it's cinnamon sugar everywhere. But I wanted something that was like cinnamon toast kind of, or just sweet and savory. And a sweet, savory pretzel was very unique, right? Because you wouldn't think of sweetness on a pretzel other than chocolate. So that was my second. And then I was like, okay, we got to round this out with something hot. So we came up with Feisty Hot. And that took a really long time because I love spicy hot foods. And every pretzel was way too hot for any chef, anybody that was helping me come up with, testing my flavors. So I think it was 60 versions and we finally ended on the Feisty Hot.
I'm a huge fan of the Feisty Hot. Don't make it any hotter.
Yay.
The Feisty Hot is, I'm a little bit of a foodie as well, but it's definitely like a New England heat. Like when we have like customers from the South, they're like, it's not hot enough, which tracks. And so I think
it does better in Texas than it does in New England.
Yeah.
And then in the market was honey mustard. Ours is called mustard and honey. I thought I would just,
Brilliant.
Well, not really. It was just not really.
People still call it honey mustard when they order it.
I don't have a marketing brain in my a marketing cell in my brain, but and that was tough because my advisors. That is one thing that I did do against the advice of my advisors because they, the opinion was you haven't sold, the 3 flavors that you have. You're so untapped. Why are you adding another one? Because that now is my number 1 ranking. And it's just, that's incredible right now. So, and it's also a consumer recognizable name. So when people see mustard and honey or honey mustard, right? Everybody has seen that.
They get the gist.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the idea behind that. And then we got a few more that are in the back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Care to share what?
Well, I can't. I might have to kill you.
There are 2 that we're really excited about, but I'm learning as I'm entering this food industry that there's also a fine line of not overdoing it on flavors and being true to the company that you are and you could go crazy and do 1,000 different flavors, like
we see on the grocery store shelves now. It's too many choices.
And so it's a very fine line, I think, with flavors and your company profile and what you introduce to the public. So has like a few ideas kind of cooking the background. And I don't want like more than probably 3, like ever. I just don't think that's our brand. And also being on the backside of it when it's just her and I, you know how complicated that is for like the food safety aspect and the out back and our production and new space and new bags and
new boxes,
everything. So it's a fine line. It's like a little dance that you have to do, but we've got a few things that are coming down the pipeline. But pipeline in the food industry is like 2 to 3 years.
Right.
It's not going to be next month. So
well, whenever you've got that news, feel free to feed it to me.
Yes.
We will.
Yes.
Promise.
I'll be the first to break the news.
Promise.
I can't wait. So I want to go back to, you mentioned earlier that you were kind of at a crossroads and you were asked, okay, what do you want to do here?
Yeah.
You said, let's go for it. What was the first step toward really blowing this thing up?
Well, the one bad thing about this business is you have to have money. So that's like the little thing that I never learned about. Because I'm like, okay, wait, at what point does my AR kick in? Why do I need money? And I am so fortunate to work with a local bank that has, can I say their name?
Yeah, no bank sponsors. It's fine.
Okay. Bangor Savings Bank. They believed in me. And that's huge. You can't do this without money. I learned really fast through one of my advisors. Again, that's been with me since the beginning through the local SCORE office. So I've used all these resources that are out there. I've used everything that's out there that's available. And
SCORE's free, by the way.
SCORE's free and it's phenomenal.
Changing.
And
which is really sad.
Is it?
It is changing.
What? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of resources. So Steve Goldberg has been working with me since day one. And he was the one that explained to me, because I'm like, oh, I know finance. I understand profit and loss and balance sheets. Well, I really didn't, because I didn't realize that at the rate I was growing that I would need money, right? I need a lot of money to buy my bags ahead of time, to buy raw materials ahead of time. And so you need to outlay the money. Some of our terms are, net 60 days, net 45 days. And so you lay the money up front. So that was the tough part. So the first step was to get some money, to get someone to back me. We are still, again, just through our bank. And I know at some point, if we want to continue to grow, maybe we need to think about doing something a little bit different. But they've just been able to hold my hand and help me take that next step.
How easy or difficult was it to get Bangor Savings Bank on board, get them behind you?
The SBA, along with the bank, I mean, it's like doing a pitch. I've done a pitch. I've got, a presentation and
a lot of spreadsheets,
and it's hard. This is a hard food industry. It's a hard industry. Restaurants, at that time, I think there was a lot of restaurants that were going out of business. So it's tough. Here you are going, okay, really, I'm selling these pretzels. And it's like, yeah, sure you are. I mean,
it's the crazy lady again.
Yeah. Cause I've had people go, yeah, okay, sell a few pretzels. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying. So yeah, once I got them to believe in me, and then each funding round, when I have to go back, I'll prove to them again. I'll be like, okay, well, I just got into, Market Basket, or I just got into Big Y. And each time I get into a store, I explain what that looks like, and they want to see that. So I've got to explain that to them, and I have no problem with that. So I'm an open book, and as are my finances. So yeah.
Now, take me inside these conversations, because I have no idea how this unfolds. So, like, you get into, a Market Basket, a Big Y. When was the first time you got into a big time grocery store? What was it? And what is the first step toward making that happen?
I got into Hannaford's first, and I got into their local program, which is super. So Hannaford's, celebrates local entrepreneurs and local people. And so that was really, really huge. When I started this business, I learned never overpromise and underdeliver. And that can happen really fast in food production. Because if I said yes 6 years ago to all these people that, we started talking to a long time ago, I couldn't have done it. Market Basket actually came to me first. I couldn't believe it. They came up here. They wanted to have a meeting with me, and I was not ready. And I told them that. And, I just, at that time, I wasn't ready. And, that's still kind of the way we are. Every time we, add a new grocery store chain, it's like, all right, ramp up production.
A lot of those.
You just weren't ready production wise.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But a lot of those conversations come out of like our brokerage firm. And so that's really kind of the key piece in all of this, or a salesperson, but really they will do a lot of the pitch for us to the stores. I have all of these relationships. So our brokerage firm does a lot of that conversations for us. And then
but not in the beginning.
No, not in the beginning. That was
in the beginning.
Yeah, that was a lot
and
of
it was
her.
like me standing behind a table and then, knowing a buyer just came by from Hannaford's and, oh my God, wanting to frame their business card because it was so exciting. It was so exciting. And it's still so exciting. We just got the nod from a pretty big company. And we're excited. It's probably going to be about, 8 months from now, but we're so excited. I can't tell you. And it's like, I cannot believe it. So
we still get POs, purchase orders, which is how stores will order through us. And her and I they come to both of us or through our brokerage firm, and we still get very giddy and we'll be like, just today we got so one exciting. And we were like, did you see that from so-and-so? And it just doesn't get old. I think.
And for a long time, I would get those POs and I'd be like, oh God, no, not another PO. Like that honestly was the way I lived for a really long time. And then, get funding, get equipment, get production up and going. It took a long time. I was in no hurry. And again, it's just me. So I wasn't really in a huge hurry because I'm not motivated by, okay, I've got to be on every grocery store shelf, all throughout the country. And now today it's a different story. I kind of would like that, but we're, hopefully moving towards that. But it takes time.
And as you were really growing this business the last few years, or like the first half, really, were you taking home any paychecks? Because
for sure.
In the food business, you're often reinvesting.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, I wasn't. And that's another thing. I haven't raised my prices, only a few times I've raised my prices. I've thought about this recently. And in the beginning, again, my advisors, SCORE advisors, you were asking me if I paid myself. I'm like, how can I pay myself? I can't pay myself. I can hardly afford, the raw materials as it is. And then we reworked it and knew I needed to increase the price. And that was scary. I'm, old school and want everybody to like me, right? So if I
that's
raise
not old school.
No,
everyone
it's terrible.
is like that.
I'd say that's like pretty big for the millennials. We really struggle with that
really?
one.
Oh God,
we're big people pleasers, our generation.
Oh, well, anyway, it was so hard to raise my prices, but I knew I needed to because I had to pay myself. So yeah, I, get a paycheck and that's important. So yeah, I think that started about 4 years in. I started paying myself.
But I think with this company that you deserve, again, still 100% woman owned. And so there's a big piece where like, it's not a 40-hour job. It just isn't.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, sure, there's payment there, but particularly for you, it's in reality, it's probably 80 hours a week. Like it's just,
yeah, but it's okay. It's never, it's
fun.
It is fun. It's never like, I don't ever, the hard times are when, oh my gosh, I got to buy 1 million bags. Like, I don't have the funds right now for 1 million bags. I've got the sales, but I don't have the funds. I mean, we've been really fortunate to have the sales. It's been incredible. So
yeah. And throughout this whole ride, I mean, you've been taking lots of advice from other people. You weren't an entrepreneur in a past life. You weren't in the food business before.
No.
So throughout this whole growth process, did you ever feel like, man, I'm in over my skis here?
Oh, for sure. All the time. All the time. I mean, I've got like 800 stories of things that have happened where I'm like, I just can't do this. And, you know what? I do it. I tell myself, let's go here. Come on, put your big girl pants on and let's get it done. Whether it's like trying to figure out how to get 10,000 boxes off the back of a tractor trailer truck
when the pallets are loaded wrong.
Pallets are loaded wrong, or, how to get 20, I don't even know how much my equipment weighs. It's a lot. And how to get that out of a truck, things like that. Like I never thought about that. Speaking of trucks, like freight trucks, freight is such a big part of my life.
It is, well, not your life anymore, because now that's what I do.
I schlepped it off to her. But
it is a whole world It is fascinating, the freight world. Fascinating.
I wanted to buy, I spent like...
No one's ever said that on the show before.
No, I can't even...
No, it's crazy.
The amount of time I actually spend in a tractor trailer is generally concerning. Like, it actually like...
I wanted to, at one time I took this deep dive. I spent like, I can't tell you how much time watching like every YouTube on like buying a 18-wheeler because I was going to buy a truck. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And, had to hire a driver. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to go to the bank and talk to him about this. But then I realized I don't want to be in the trucking business. I need to rely on trucks. And I, to this day, will drive by a truck and I'll be like, oh, I really like them. Like I love trucks. Like
I love truck drivers.
Right.
They're so sweet. They really are.
It's all about commerce and moving your products for all of us throughout the country. And I just have a different perspective on trucks now. But anyway, we're not buying any trucks. We're not going down that route.
No.
Not yet. Oh, no.
We book trucks and we load trucks and we unload trucks. And then we get quotes on trucks. But
anyway, freight's big. Yeah.
Okay, Eilee. So you're the queen of freight around here.
Yes.
You came on full time in this business.
Yep.
After being a counselor at Portsmouth High, right?
Yep.
Why did you want to join your mom full time?
I know, it's a good question. Why did I know?
Well, remember, I needed it.
Yeah. So she was at this point where...
Bigger than my skis.
Yeah. She had sat down, my sister and I were 18 months apart, back-to-back grades, very, very close. And she had sat us down and said, hey, I'm growing really big. I'm at this point where someone...
Growing really fast.
Fast.
Wouldn't say big.
I need help. And if you want to join, I can offer you some ownership, or I have to move it outside of our nuclear family.
Yeah, I would have to go find someone else that would want to join me.
So I sat on that for a very long time, like months, probably about 6 months. And I really loved what I did. I'm licensed in New Hampshire. I'm licensed in Massachusetts. I went to BU Med. I did it all. Like I was working high risk population and I really loved what I was doing. But I was also in this point in my life of raising babies as well. And I just kind of had this epiphany of, is this something that being a counselor that I want to keep doing? Again, I was working with high risk kids, really sad, tough stuff. I wasn't really doing the happy stuff. And so it was getting a little bit, I won't say hard, but just like, ooh, this is sitting with me a little weird with some young kids at home. And so she had made this offer. And like I said, I sat with it for a very long time. And I had to have till November 1st, actually. So it's probably been like 3 years since I formally decided.
I gave them a deadline.
Yeah, it was November 1st. And I remember I'd picked up my youngest daughter, Maeve, at her house. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I did finish out my contract at the school. I still really miss it. I have like some very dear coworkers that I've met along in this field who I really miss, but making this switch has been something I never thought I would ever do. I was ready to open a private practice. I'd started some of that work on the side. Like I was very like, I am a therapist. I still think like a therapist. That is like to my core who I am. So yeah, I had joined her formally and I have not looked back since. And I think now I get like the little, like the comments from my, not so much my like friends, but people like on the periphery that are like, how's the pretzel business? Like, I think people think I'm like, I work part-time and like I'm a stay-at-home mom the other part of the time. I'm like, that is not my life anymore.
We kick ass.
Yeah, we do. We're fun. So I joined, and one of the big things about me joining is protecting our relationship. I live just down the road. Her and I are very close with my sister. And I don't know if anyone knows what it's like to be in family business, but it's very, very difficult, but in a good way. And I remember I had a family friend say to me when he had learned I was coming here, and he does a family business, Clint, he had said, you'll fight like cats and dogs, but it's the best thing you'll ever do. And so a big condition of me joining was, how are we going to protect our relationship? Yeah. So we gotta
we see a therapist every month. And she's great. Wonderful. No, it's great. You have to, because that was my deal too. It wasn't only her deal. Yeah. Like, you can't come into this business unless our relationship is first. And actually, relationships for everybody, our employees is first. Families are first. Yep. You know, taking care of the soul is really important to me, and especially when it comes to my daughter. So we do work with someone who's great. And, you know, we've had meetings with her before where she's, you know, just like her jaw is about to drop because we're like ready to pull each other's hair out. But
there's been a few times she's like, I don't know if this is safe for me to sign off. And we're like, we're okay. We'll be okay. And we'll take a lap together and we'll figure it out. But I kind of have found my niche, and people are like, well, what do you do? I'm like, what don't I do? I've moved 20 pallets today. I've worked on a marketing campaign. I've worked on our food safety plan. That is our holy Bible. So it's funny. When I first started, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. And now I'm like, I do too much. I'm like, we have to hire more people. We can't handle it. So we're hiring people. Yeah. We just hired a lovely person who's going to help with some of this stuff because as explained to people this weekend, we're like,
it's all good.
We're treading water.
Yeah,
we're
it's all good.
Right here.
It's all good.
It's all good stuff. So that was a long answer.
We're in a massive production facility right now, 40-ish employees. Multi-millions of dollars in sales per year. You're across the entire country. You're in Walmart.
Yeah.
You're in Wegmans, or going to be in Wegmans.
Yes.
And Big Y. And Hannaford. All these
Shaw's.
name brands, Shaw's across the country. You're not in the Whole Foods yet. But my point is, do you guys ever just sit back and marvel at what you have built here? And it's still just mainly the two of you running the show, this massive show.
No,
we're really bad at that.
No. You know, somebody was doing something with my website. Well, we're terrible at marketing, terrible. It's just not my thing. And someone was doing something on the website and they wanted testimonials. I was like, we don't keep testimonials. I only keep if there's a complaint. We have a book that, you know, we record every complaint if there's, you know, a problem with the pretzels or whatever and how we respond to it. And I was like, we don't keep the positive ones. So we had to start keeping positive emails, which is terrible. It keeps us humble. I mean, I'm still humble, you know.
Yeah, we're really bad at it. We had just gotten, we're in TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And so we had just gotten another, you know, order from them. And we were all excited for 20 seconds. And then the next thing I know, we're off doing something else. I'm like, we have to be better about celebrating those things.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough time. There's not enough hours in the day. Yeah. Also, we have lives outside of here too.
Yeah, it's great. I'm happy about being able to hire more people and, you know, provide employment again for our unique workforce that we have here, and all that stuff is cool.
Yeah, we got to celebrate one day. We'll celebrate. Maybe we'll.
I know. Well, we do. We celebrate every day. You know, it's not a problem coming to work. Like, a lot of my friends are, you know, retiring or they're winding down, and I'm getting busier, it seems, but it's a really good busy. I find it fun. You know, it's not a problem coming into work. Never.
Given your lack of marketing acumen, what do you attribute all the success to?
It's a good product. I think it's just a good product.
I don't know.
I think we have something that's good product.
Yeah. The bag sits well on a shelf. I've always wanted that bag is a unique bag. I've never wanted to sell to people. I never wanted to have on the front of my bag, you know, when you go to a grocery store, all it is
low
trying
sodium.
to prove you should buy a product. And I've never been like that. I'm not
Protein pretzels.
Yeah, no, it's just pretzels. It's like there's nothing.
Pretzels make you stronger.
Yeah, no. I've never tried to be anything other than, and I'm a snack food, right? It's not a clean product. I mean, it's cleaner. We cleaned our product up a couple years ago, but
Like ingredients.
Yeah. So, I'm aware of that. I'm not trying to be anything other than
Which is a pet peeve of mine when people will complain and be like, well, this product has X, Y, and Z in it. It's a snack food.
Yeah. And
I know.
We're a lot cleaner than a lot of snack foods.
We're not an apple. We are a snack food. It's going to have sodium.
We should have done that. We should have done apple orchards.
It's so fascinating what people will complain about. I get it. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinions, but it is a snack food at its core also. It's not meant to be a health item. And that's okay. Again, we are okay with that and comfortable with that.
And if you only eat a couple at a time, you'll be okay.
But it's impossible to eat a couple at a time because they're so good.
No,
it's a resealable bag. That's what I'm saying.
Which is clutch.
It is.
Because I've been snacking on my Feisty Hot for like a month.
I love it.
And they're still keeping their...
See, that feels good to me.
I'm sure a great marketing moment for you guys was when last year during her campaign trail, then Vice President Kamala Harris stopped by Port City Pretzels. I'm so fascinated by how this came to be because I remember... hearing rumors, okay, Kamala's coming to Portsmouth on the campaign trip, but where is she going? When is she going to be here? What time? And it was kind of like under lock and key. She ends up going to Throwback Brewery to do a public performance, and then she comes here as well.
She does.
How did you guys get chosen for this? Take me into the timeline of events here.
Good question. I do show my product at an event that Senator Shaheen puts on every year in Washington, D.C. It's about New Hampshire products, and it's all about New Hampshire. So it's pretty cool. So maybe I'm on the radar that way. I'm a small business. I'm registered with the FDA and the SBA. So, if someone was looking for a small business and they're in Portsmouth and they want to go to a small manufacturer, it's not rocket science, I think, to find me. We got the call about a week in advance, and we didn't know who it was going to be. They just didn't tell us. And then each day, it was, a few more people came and checked things out. And then I think it was 2 days before, all of a sudden, like a bus came up and all these Secret Service came out. And I was like, okay, this is definitely going to be either her husband or it's going to be the vice president. So I wasn't sure. We didn't look for it. We didn't ask for it, but we were certainly incredibly proud and couldn't believe that a vice president would come to my facility.
When you say you got the call, who did it come from?
Her security team.
Yeah, her team.
Wow.
Yeah, wicked cool.
It is
wicked cool.
Wild what people go. It makes sense. It's someone's safety. But when we say security, what she just said, like first there was 3 people. Her security team came to check the facility, probably to vet, is this a place that is safe?
Yeah.
Then maybe 10 people came the next day. And this is on Saturday and Sunday. So it was kind of okay, we don't really know what's happening. And then on Monday, she was scheduled to come on, I think Tuesday or Wednesday. Then I'm not exaggerating, probably 40 to 50 people, her security team, her media team come. And it's a food manufacturing facility too. So we're also we have to be in production to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Plus you guys can't walk here. And they're looking at you we can walk wherever we want.
They got to put the hair mask on.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's so we had to we shut down production.
Yeah, it was insane. Some of the stuff that,
wild.
Kudos to the people that do secret security. It is.
Oh,
they spent hours doing this. Hours.
The cameras that went off, the clicking, it was overwhelming because all, CNN was there, all the newscasters were there who follow her around. And I was blown away by that. But we could have 10 people there, 10 employees. And we chose our employees, and that felt incredibly powerful to me, just to have my employees there that were so excited to be able to meet the vice president.
Very sweet.
It was really, really an incredible experience. And I think the next day we had 500 orders.
Yeah,
so it was a little nutty.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And it was, and look, it was no matter what you believe, it was still the vice president's office. So I was extremely proud of that.
Yeah.
And thankful.
It was a very cool thing to be a part of and witness and she's also just a really cool woman. And so to meet her and I was like anyone would be starstruck, but I also learned I don't ever want to be famous ever, ever, ever.
No. Cameras. No.
I was sweating in places I don't like to sweat. I was very uncomfortable. And then the part that after
I was running out of things to say.
And the part after is the media companies stay after and do interviews with us. And it makes sense why particularly any of the stuff I filmed never got published. I mean, I was so awful on camera. I get really anxious. But then that was the other whole part that no one would see is we had to sit back and do these interviews and we're sitting behind our machines and they're asking us all this stuff. It was it was a big 72 hours for us.
This is a big deal for us. This is a big deal.
Even this, we were
this is. And I have to tell you, my other daughter is in media. And she got a chance to meet, what's his name again? Mark Cuban. And she actually talked to him she's like, oh, my mom's company. And he was like, oh, well, she should definitely apply to be on.
Mark Cuban, who's on Shark
Tank, yes. And so we had to do a video immediately because they were getting ready to pick. And I think I got bumped up a little bit, in the chain, I think. I was terrible on camera. It was the worst video. I just sounded like this. I just sounded like a dork.
Any reel that I make, which is really jankety, so I apologize to our social media followers. I have to do 20 clips of her.
Yeah,
redo it.
Well, because I'm a dork. So anyway,
doesn't look good.
Anyway, we sent it off, and the producers got back and said, we can't get you in this year, but would you apply again? And I'm sitting here right now telling you I have not applied. It's stupid because I probably should, but I'm not going to be on TV. Even if I got that far, I'm like, you need to be.
Not me.
I said you would have to be on TV, but
I will not.
Anyway,
no. Yeah, you could totally do it. And represent us. I'll get you a shirt and everything.
That'd be great.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, just today, someone was asking me, we're trying to launch marketing as our next big thing. And so we're going to we hired this person. She was like, well, do you want to do TikTok? And I was like, the company, yes, but I do not want to be in any of those videos. Please don't.
I'm like, is it still a thing?
Still very much a thing. TikTok is around, can't confirm. So you said that the day after Harris came here, that you had 500 orders.
Yeah,
at least.
So do you think this was a significant moment and that this really took you to the next stratosphere?
It certainly helped with branding. Our next stratosphere is grocery store shelves. So it didn't, that helped with branding. So
yeah, it helped with our Shopify account where people buy stuff online.
Consumers that buy things online. So that was huge. So we still get orders now from, I think, just about every state in the country. Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with that visit for people that had ordered from that. So that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the other side, not to get political, but there's that piece too that always happens, but that's natural. It's the country we live in.
Yeah. You said you never want to get famous.
Nope.
Have to deal with that stuff.
Yeah,
I know. I looked at some of the comments on the post. I was like,
is it? Yeah.
No.
There was some tough stuff in there.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was sad. People.
Not from Seacoast people, though. They're the best.
No.
People say some really cool things.
Yeah.
And it's not fair.
And you know what? Who I am, I would welcome anybody here that would want to come and look at our manufacturing facility and see what we do. Doesn't matter. We would welcome anybody.
So you've said multiple times throughout this conversation that you guys are growing faster than you can currently accommodate. So as we think about the next phase of the evolution of Port City Pretzels, what's the next hurdle to clear to grow this?
Well, we are looking at additional space, and we've got a few thoughts on the horizon about just production and increasing production, buying new equipment. And right now we have one machine that's 4 bags a minute. We have another machine that's 30 bags a minute. and we are selling at about 75 bags a minute. So we need to probably look at different equipment. And again, I just, haven't seen the rush to get it done, but that's definitely the next step.
And always going to keep it in Portsmouth? Is that the plan?
Well,
this is where you're such a Portsmouth lady at heart.
Yeah, of course
why wouldn't you?
I know.
Why wouldn't I
well, it's funny. We'd sat
and
down
you should
with.
Be,
I know. I
history,
am too. We had sat down with a lawyer the other day, and we were just talking about the space in general. And he was like, "Portsmouth is very expensive for anything, residential or commercial." And he's like, "You should really maybe consider outside of Portsmouth." And I could feel it in her heart. She's like, "Outside of Portsmouth?
Outside Portsmouth, really?"
Yeah. So if there's space here,
if it's on the coast bus route,
that's
because
important.
we have a lot of our employees that take the coast bus, and if it's on that route, it doesn't matter where it is. And maybe it's here, and maybe we expand here too. But we definitely need to, if we get another piece of equipment, it's not going to fit in here.
No, it will not.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is all encompassing.
Yeah.
This is not a 40-hour a week job, as you said. How do you separate from it? Can you separate from it?
Yoga.
Where do you go?
I do yoga.
Where?
Well, I was.
I pause. The
Wait,
fact that you asked this question, I'm dying on the inside because her yoga studio, it is it's a big part of her life.
Oh,
There's been a lot of yoga drama of which studio she
I'm a yoga teacher, so I'm in on all the drama.
Okay, well, then I need to go to wherever you're teaching yoga.
I'm teaching tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Where? Oh, I love 7 a.m.
Three Bridges in Portsmouth.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. I'm not a yoga person,
Okay.
but
okay.
I take it you don't go to Three Bridges?
No, I
Wow.
don't. I was going to Seabrook. Hot yoga, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you're one of those.
she is one of those.
Yeah,
It's her
I'm one of
identity,
those, but not.
For the hot yogis, it always is.
They're like CrossFit people.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
their
They
identity.
I can't do CrossFit. I'm too old to do CrossFit. My
No,
other
it's
daughter,
an identity thing.
my other daughter got me into yoga, and it is, it's really. I don't have to tell you. If you're a yoga teacher, I need it. So right now, I was going to Seabrook. There's a hot yoga studio down there. Of course, I've been to the one in Portsmouth, which is fabulous, and I found a little home in Northampton.
Okay.
Seacoast Hot Yoga. And I'm feeling pretty good about that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. So yeah, it does. It keeps me grounded. I mean, I'm not that great at it, but I love that it's just you and your mat. And
Doesn't matter. There is no such thing as good or bad.
Right. And that is, I don't know. It comes here to me. I bring it in here, and it just, yeah. Yeah, you get it.
That's the beauty of it.
You don't get it.
I don't get it.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know. We gotta turn her into a yogi. She'll get there eventually.
Well,
Yeah.
I thank you so much for joining the show today. This has been so fun to learn more about you guys. We do have one final question. We ask the same final question at the end of every episode every week. I'll ask it to both of you. It's brought to you by David Higgins, a Portsmouth resident and investment advisor. As he grows his local business, he is proud to support ours. To work with David directly to level up your investment game, just send him an email at the address you can find in the show notes. Eileen, I'll begin with you. If you were to leave this earth tomorrow, what would you want people to remember about you?
Do I have the same question?
Yes.
Okay.
And you get time to think about it. And the fact that you both haven't thought about this shows me that you haven't listened to the show, so that's fine.
No,
I thought you were gonna. You know what I thought you were gonna ask is, what do you consider the Seacoast?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
people love that
exactly.
one. You were prepared for that one.
No, I know.
I was like, I was literally going to say exit. No, Newburyport to Kennebunkport. That's my answer to that one.
That's I'm Newburyport to Algonquin. But that's not the final question. I've been asking the same final question the last 5 months.
Okay, I'm sorry. I would probably say, I guess maybe that I care. Like, I care for people, and I think I feel very deeply for people. And sometimes I'm probably really bad at showing it, but I would want people really to know that I care about them and their well-being. That really matters to me, and people's happiness. And I know I can't control it, but I care about my kids and their happiness, and my husband, yours, my sisters. So say my empathy, maybe my spirit. I'm a little bit of a wild spirit sometimes, but
I can tell.
I'm fun. No, I'm just kidding.
Suzanne.
Okay, I'm ready. I can answer it.
If you were to leave this earth tomorrow, what would you want people to remember about you?
Well, I would want to hopefully inspire someone, anyone, just people that maybe are at a very low point. Because I think there's maybe a lot of people out there that are at low points. And I've been there, and you can come back from it. So I would hope that I can give that to someone. Even one person would be great.
I'm certainly inspired. And I
Well
think the
said.
folks of the Seacoast will be as well after
Thank
hearing
you
your story.
so much.
Thank you so much, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Eilee.
you.
Congrats on all the success. And I
Thanks.
can't wait to see where Port City goes from here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
We
it.
appreciate you.
That's Suzanne Foley and Eilee Marousek of Port City Pretzels in Portsmouth. To support them, you can purchase their pretzels directly on their website or at a Seacoast grocery store near you. Remember that if you'd like to support this show, you can do so by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or by submitting a rating on Spotify. It will take no longer than 20 seconds. Thank you in advance, and I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your loved ones. I'm certainly grateful to be on the Seacoast and grateful to all of you for your constant support. I'll talk to you next Monday for a very special episode. But until then, have a great week. Live free or die.